All right, everybody. We are on episode number 5. You were episode number 5. Look at that. This
Hey,
is the Proptech Genius Show. You made the top 5, buddy. There you go.
awesome. Glad to be here.
Yeah, exactly. So we are here with Jay, and Jay, I'm going to massacre your last name. You probably massacred mine. Is it
Fribourg.
Fribourg? Okay, all right.
Yep.
Kind of like cyborg, which is really kind of cool because you're in cybersecurity.
Right? Isn't
Anybody ever
it?
tell
Meant
you
to
that?
be.
Anybody ever do that for you?
I
No?
have heard that before.
Have
The
you?
nickname. Yep.
All right. Well, very cool. Well, we are going to be, just so you know, this is the PropTech Genius Show. So you get to be called a genius for today. I don't know if you're called a genius a lot, but you get to be
Hey,
called
I'll
it.
take it.
You take it. So you are a genius today. And we're going to talk all things cybersecurity, which is so cool. And not actually probably a topic that should be talked more about that is not right now. I think prop tech is such a new industry, and it is kind of exploding and evolving and doing all these great things. And if we do not talk cybersecurity, we're totally being neglectful, I believe. So it's a good topic to talk about, especially since I was just reading in The Economist about a stealth attack that came close to compromising all the world's computers that some Microsoft engineer figured out. There was like in malicious code embedded in this program where people like hook in to connect to the internet. And and of course they blame Russia because you know what? They're just everybody's, let's blame them. Like, why not? They're everybody's like, let's beat up on them, but probably it was them. Who knows? But anyway, that's cool. So before we get further down that path, I'll let you introduce yourself, talk about your background, why, how you got into cybersecurity, all those great things. And then we'll talk about how it relates to prop tech and tell some stories, shoot the crap. That's what we're
Sounds
going to do.
good.
All right, go for it.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on here, Amy.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be on here today and get this, opportunity to share my story and our story about, what we're bringing to the table here around cybersecurity and insurance to the prop tech community. So my name is Jay Fribourg, co-founder of Blue Zone Cyber Solutions. And a little bit about me is 15 years ago, I owned an insurance agency in Austin, Texas. Built it, sold it. It's called Bentley Insurance Agency. If anyone happened to see it out there, we had a big Great Dane dog that was our mascot, and it was "Can the big dog save you money?" And we did some really good, fun advertising around Austin with that brand. And uh, you know, after some years and a couple of health scares, my wife and I were just kind of sitting down and deciding what we wanted to do with 4 kids. And there was an opportunity out there, an offer to sell our book of business, and we went for it. So uh, that was a first successful business, and we took 4 months off to backpack through Southeast Asia. Had the time of our life there, going all through China and Vietnam, and
Wait,
came.
hold on, time out. You went through
Mhm.
Southeast Asia with 4 kids. Really?
Oh, before kids.
Before kids. Okay.
Definitely
I was
before
like,
kids.
before kids. I was like, you are so brave. All right, I got you. Now, all right, good.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
okay.
But those families are out there, and I am a big
Yeah.
component of traveling with family, but with
Oh,
two
yeah.
kids now. Two
Oh,
kids
okay.
now.
All right. Okay, great.
So, yeah, no, we backpacked through there and then returned back to Austin. I was actually waiting on some funding to go through to work for a startup that didn't end up working out, and I got a call from an old friend who had just moved to Austin with a startup distributor with next generation firewall company that
Mhm.
was a startup at that time. They just got a big contract to be one of 3 distributors. That brand is Palo Alto Networks Firewalls, which has now went from startup to #1 firewall vendor on the market. And so had a really incredible ride there the last 9 years. Was part of building a big business that got to generating over $1 billion annually and selling firewalls and managed services. And then we were acquired by Ingram Micro. So last year, myself and 2 of the other early employees split off, and we founded Blue Zone Cyber Solutions. So what makes us very unique is it's very rare that you have a cybersecurity company that offers insurance. It's
Yeah.
very is rare that you have an insurance agent that offers cybersecurity. So we're really wedging ourselves and taking advantage of our experience in between those two.
Mhm.
And we have a lot of experience with large enterprise companies And now we've got some really nice offerings that we've bundled all the way down to small, medium-sized business owner to just simplify cybersecurity, make it easier to understand. We manage everything for them.
Right.
Like you said, there's articles hitting the news every day about different companies being hacked and having to pay ransomware to get back into their systems and all of that. So um, that's where we're into the market. Just went over our first year hump, getting some good traction, and
Ooh.
you know, this prop tech community excites me because kind of falls in both worlds. And outside of that, I do have a Airbnb business, so I've been involved with real estate for years as well.
Yeah, it's you know, most everybody, I get this all the time. There's like, well, doesn't BlackRock own everything? And I'm like, no, they do not. There's the names that you all know, like Graystar, BlackRock, Blackstone, all the stones and rocks and all those great things, the grays and blacks and whatever. And they don't own the market. The market of real estate is truly owned by small business owners, just like it mimics, the largest employer in the United States, a small business, right? It's very similar. So people own a couple of properties here or there, whatever, but they do have this need where they are keeping privacy information. They will have, tenant data, and they will have, payment data, and they will have all these great things that they could get hacked into, and it has a huge liability for them. So marrying the insurance with cybersecurity is really good, because and the hardest thing about being in a small business owner, which I know, is like I am the IT department, right? And I'm like, I don't know the first thing about being in IT, but if my email's not working, guess who's calling? It's me. Like if something's not working, I don't have an IT person, right? And so
Exactly.
if you're able to bundle something for a small and medium business owner that doesn't have an IT, person, and especially in cybersecurity, and there's such a huge risk with it. I mean, even when I owned multifamily properties, I had probably 1,500 units at one point. That's 1,500 tenants, right? That's a huge liability with all that privacy information data, that PII, like, that I could have been hacked into. Luckily, I wasn't, thank goodness. But
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? you
Yep.
know, it's like crazy town, for sure, for sure. And now with all the IoT devices and the smart access locks and all these other things that somebody could break into somebody's home, I cringe for the day where somebody hacked into somebody's smart access lock, and then they were able to get in their apartment and they hurt them. That's what everybody fears, is like,
Yeah.
yes, we have all this technology coming out, but then somebody's going to be able to break into, like, hack into something and be able to get in. And had they just had a key,
Absolutely.
like, well, it's just silly. Like, they would have used a crowbar and a hammer, like they would have gotten it. Like, I just, but still, that's the next headline, right? It's like somebody's going to break into an access lock, right? And so it's
Yeah.
really interesting. So how do you marry the two? Like, what is your product doing? To tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so starting out there, like you mentioned, I mean, those companies that are out there and they don't have their own IT security team, that's where
Mhm.
they can lean on us, right? Just how they would go out there and outsource their accountant to do their taxes.
Right.
This is such a big need out there now that they lean on us to go out there and be a part of their team. And so we have just an easy bundled solution on the cybersecurity side where they can purchase those. And then for some larger companies or ones that already have some stuff in place, we do custom orders there. Just we do exploratory calls, very specific to what their needs are. If they're needing help, for example, with compliance, we're getting a lot of calls about compliance
Mhm.
with some new regulations that have come out, and our team has that experience to be able to help them making sure that they're compliant, and then the whole insurance side too. So we're a full commercial and personal insurance shop. So if somebody's buying a building and there's doing renovations and they did a builder's risk policy, all the way from that beginning remodel all the way to, okay, now it's an active property. We offer a full business owner's property plan there to cover the property, cover liability, and then, like you said, I mean, really checking that there aren't any doors, windows, that type of thing that's left unlocked, all the way from physical, like to the digital world, right? And making sure that they can't hack in here into these groups and get that sensitive PII information. So our platform is built with that PII capabilities within it. So if it is
Mhm.
left on a node on your computer, or if it's, if it's going in an email, there's an alert that pops up and says, hey, you realize this is on here. Do you want this to actually send
Yeah.
in real time? So yeah, we bring a big offering to the table, but we really just, customize it for each customer, uh, and in a variety of ways. Our product fits within the Proptech community.
So, as far as, do you do physical security? Is it cybersecurity only? Or are you doing physical security stuff too?
We are doing cybersecurity only.
Okay.
Now we do have some vendors that we can partner with,
Mhm.
and that we can make some referrals to that would do the physical side of the house.
Yeah.
But you have your physical security out there, and you have the digital world. So anything logging onto the computer, from
Yeah.
email, web browsing, and we cover the data that's on the computer. So people aren't
Okay.
just all sitting in the same office anymore, and you need to just guard that, right? They're at the coffee
Mhm.
shop, they're at the airport,
Yep.
they're they need Wi-Fi, so they're clicking on the button that says, "Are you okay with connecting to unsecured Wi-Fi? People might be able to see your data." Yes, to get on there. So part of our firewall that we have behind the scenes is a secure VPN tunnel,
Okay.
and protecting that where data wherever they are and on their laptop. If it gets stolen, we can go out, we can wipe it clean from remotely, uh, and just
Oh, that's
providing
good.
all of those layers, yes, of protection there. So we're already scanning everything very granular when it comes through your Wi-Fi into your network to block malware, block viruses, before it's even hitting your email inbox and so forth. And then some stuff, we can't guarantee that any company is 100% protected. I mean, that we cannot do, unfortunately. So,
Yeah.
but we have protocols in place to stop it quickly and remediate it, and we have an incident response team as well to manage it for you.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's about risk, right? I mean,
Right.
um, there's risk acceptance, which is a lot of businesses are doing, that they know that there's cybersecurity, uh, big possibility or a 50% chance it's going to hit your business. And there's just so many vendors out there. There's so much technical jargon. It's hard to even go online and figure out what to purchase. So a lot of them are just saying like, "Hey, I'm just going to take a knock on wood, hope it doesn't happen to me" approach, right?
Yeah.
And and that's what we're really trying to go out there and educate the community with. For example, I shoot like short videos on YouTube that are
Mhm.
real life hacks. So people are always telling us about, this happened to me, that happened to me. We're taking those stories, we're putting them into video form, so business owners can actually see like, okay, this is a real life thing that happened through this phishing email. They got my PII information and then caused a cyber insurance claim. So risk. Yeah.
How
I was just
much
gonna say,
is
and there's like,
cyber? How much? Sorry for interrupting, but how
yeah,
much is cyber insurance? I mean, that cyber insurance is a thing now, right? So is it
cyber
an
insurance.
expensive kind of thing to have, or is it not? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, it can run anywhere from $1,000 up to multi thousands of dollars. It actually is, pretty conservative though on pricing.
Mm-hmm.
And the big thing there is that companies have to be able to qualify for it. So a lot of companies, they go, backtrack 3 years ago when cyber insurance was really becoming popular.
Mm-hmm.
Companies would sell you a cyber insurance policy. People would just check the box saying, "Yeah, I have have my infrastructure in place." And then whenever it comes to claim time, because there's been a lot of claims,
Mm-hmm.
then the company are saying, "Well, you promised in this guarantee that you had this, but you actually don't have a firewall. You actually don't have multi-factor authentication set up on your phone." So
Wow.
it's gotten to a point where insurance companies are really tightening their belt now, to, one, qualify for a policy, and two, make sure that your claim is going to be paid out. So what we did is we went out there and spoke directly to these insurance companies, took their specific applications, and that is what we based the main three packages on our website off of. And
Mm-hmm.
so by buying our package, they can qualify for the cyber insurance, and then they're being a responsible business owner. And in the event that an attack occurs, that policy can kick in to actually pay for these ransomware payments when someone uh, takes over your system and locks it up, and you can only get back in by paying a ransom, which is paid in a lot of cases because businesses are losing lots of revenue per day if they don't have access to their data, if their website's down and it's a high volume business, that kind of thing. So,
No,
um,
my laptop was about to die, y'all. So this is like really real. This is what happens with Amy's. Like, you know, I'm really not going to edit that out. So just like, go, keep going.
yeah,
So that's
hey,
awesome. But yeah, okay, they're good. Now we're good. Now I'm not gonna die. Um, so yeah, which is it's sad how prevalent it's become, right? And it's like, and you're and everybody thought for like the longest time they were just trying to hack the Pentagon, right? Or they're trying to hack these really large companies, but no, they're going for smaller ones too, right?
Yeah,
I
right. I mean,
I get phishing emails. For some reason, my startup, I get emails from my HR department. And I'm like,
yeah.
I don't have an HR department, y'all. Like, and it's like, oh, it's benefits enrollment time. I'm like, oh, it is? Let me go talk to myself about benefits
Yeah.
enrollment.
Yeah,
So
they
I,
will try
yeah,
those tactics.
yeah, they do all sorts of
Yeah.
things. And I was like, so I'm like, it's me and a couple of people. I'm like, y'all, we're not having benefits enrollment, just FYI, and but even I was getting those, right? And we're small, we're a startup.
Right.
It's crazy town. Oh, it's so funny. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, that's not us.
Yeah.
But yeah, but they'll go after anybody for sure, right? They're just trying to get into anything for sure.
Yeah, right. There's a whole group out there that's called like hacktivism, and they're hacking into companies like you said to just show that they can hack and they can hack the website. And sometimes they might take the money and go deposit it to charity. It's almost like a
Oh,
hacktivist group. And then
really?
there's yeah, and then there's this wave, that we're really out there. That's the ones that are just really going out to the small, medium-sized business owner and just stealing, right? Just taking their information, and then they're able to go out on the dark web, and there's a whole menu that you can over resale price for a social security number, date of birth, driver's license number,
Oh my
credit
gosh.
card numbers, bank account logins. I mean, thousands of items that they can go out there and sell that for money. So, and unfortunately, in some countries, it's not policed very well, where they can actually have an
Yeah.
office that there's full-time workers at every day, and that's what they're doing is they're just in there hacking all day, setting traps, and then they're basically a ransomware as a service sales agent. So if they can get someone on ransomware, they're going to make their commission off of it and go on. So it's a full-time business out there, and really, yeah, I mean, for most small business owners, especially if they got hit with this ransomware attacks and they had to pay that cash out of pocket, most of them don't have more than a
Yeah.
few months on hand really to pay all the bills and payroll and everything. So
Yeah.
having that cyber insurance policy in place, I mean, it literally could save your business from going out of business,
True.
which
Yeah. And I'm just like all those people, I'm just like, get a job. Like, I don't understand. Like, why do you have to steal from people? I just don't get it. Like, I just ugh, makes me so mad. Makes me so
yeah,
mad because I've seen it like where people get hacked and like I mean like Facebook, like who cares? Why are you hacking my Facebook? Like why are you doing like all the things they try and all the things that they do and I know it's so funny because I like will go off on them. Like I'll get contacted by somebody I haven't talked to in years and oh hey, I'm in like London. I'm like, really you are? I just saw you like last week. I know it's not you. Like knock it off, right? Just but why?
yeah.
I don't, so
Yeah,
annoying.
the
So,
tough ones, I mean, talking real estate too, is the wire fraud
oh yeah,
issues, right? I
yeah,
mean, I've seen some really sad stories out there
uh-huh.
of people that, they hack into their email and they get into the invoice that's been sent, whether it's, going to the title company or the attorney
Mhm.
or however the transaction's going down, and they've changed the bank account number on there and funds are wired and it goes to that criminal group. And I mean, I was watching a story not too long ago. It's literally this couple's like life savings, and they're buying their dream house they've saved for so long, and then the money was gone and it didn't happen. Like, oh,
Yes.
that is a tough day in life.
Yeah, that is
So
horrible. I remember I was so back before I was in technology, I was a real estate developer and or private syndicator. And so I would put deals together. And so a lot of the investors, they would invest with me, they would wire me the money, right? So they were like, here's my investment, and they would generally just wire it in. And then Chase, I was banking with Chase. And I'm going to go buy the property. So I'd been getting all these wires and doing all this stuff. And it's today's the day, and we're gonna go buy this property, right? And Chase shut my account down. And they were like, this is fraudulent activity. Why are you getting all these wires? And then I initiated a wire to wire it all out because that's kind of what you do. You get all the
yeah,
equity in, and then you're gonna go like today's the day. And I initiated the wire, and they went, nope. like
Yeah.
this. And they cut it, and then they wouldn't even tell me why. Like they just shut it down for weeks. And then I
Yeah,
had
for
to go
weeks.
back and revalidate and go physically in person to go meet with the banker. And even the
Yep.
banker was like, I don't, they shut it down. And I have to go call New York and I have to do the, so it was really, really interesting. And so they were doing it obviously to protect everybody, which I totally got, but I had to like physically go validate. Yes, I'm a real US person. Yes, this is what we were using it for. But it was interesting to see because the banks obviously had all that liability. If it went out and it was fraudulent, I mean, it was millions of dollars. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like a small amount, right? So
Right.
yeah,
It caused a little red flag there.
a little bit.
There's a little bit.
But I had but prior to that experience, I had done this like 12 times. Right. This was no
Right.
big deal. Like the bank was like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And even with Chase, and it would never been, but I guess with the whole wire fraud thing that it had just started happening, they
Yeah.
were like, they got onto it and they were like, nope, this looks
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, I'm not a
Yeah.
money launderer, I'm just a real estate syndicator.
Right.
But yeah, no, for sure, for sure. So what do you
Yeah.
see is the biggest kind of issue, like like for if you're walking in and you're starting a relationship with a customer, like what is the biggest thing that you're seeing as far as cybersecurity issues that you like you're like, well, duh, why are you doing this? Like, you know what I mean? Like the low
Yeah.
hanging fruit that people could help like do better. What do you see?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, a couple of things come to mind. I mean, one, we have a industry-leading cyber risk assessment tool that we run.
Mm-hmm.
And so to paint that initial picture of, hey, here's some potential holes and gaps that you should fill,
Mm-hmm.
because the hackers basically use a similar tool that they come by and scan to see if you have these areas where they could get into. So what we do is this risk assessment, and we just scan their website domain. And by
Mm-hmm.
doing that, that is linked to so much within your email and external networks, and even if there's been compromised credentials. And so we run one of these assessments that gives a whole report back that we can go and show to the business owner. So it actually gives them an industry grade, benchmarking them against a competitor in their industry. So you get like a score out of
I'm
100,
I'm sorry. I'm sitting here thinking,
right?
like, he's going to do this on my website and then we get like, Amy, you suck.
Here's us to follow.
Yeah, exactly.
Episode part two.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Keep going.
So
Yeah, because I know mine's probably all bad, but keep going. All right,
yeah,
go.
so we go out there and we're able to pinpoint where there's these vulnerabilities and where stuff isn't completely set up. A lot of it is initial controls and configurations, whether that's from your email or your web server, or
Mhm.
even with security solutions, because a lot of business owners are still running with just the antivirus that came on their computer,
Yeah.
and that is smoking mirrors. That is not going to stop any of the sophisticated hackers these days. So
Okay, yeah,
that is
exactly.
not a good solution. And then, two, what we really do is ask if their employees are taking regular cyber awareness training, because 85% of the hacks are with employees due to human error, right?
Right.
They are clicking on that link from HR. They are clicking on and buying gift cards for somebody that's in a meeting that isn't really right. And just one click on that wrong malicious link that comes through with that email protection can just give them access into your network and cause a lot of problems. So um, we like to start with the risk assessment. We have an industry leading cyber awareness training course, and so we offer that for 2 weeks free to companies. So and at the end, and I have taken a lot of terrible trainings in the past too. So one of the main goals was this isn't going to be a 3 or 4 hour long, super tedious class and several cups of coffee.
Mhm.
All our whole class is under 30 minutes. So there's 22 videos that are about 1 minute long, straight and to the point on what to look for.
Oh,
Also some examples of real life hacks. And then at the end of that, they get a certificate of completion that they're able to keep on file. For example, for your cyber insurance, showing that you did have all of your employees take this training. And that's
awesome.
one training. So then as they become a customer, that's included in our package. And over a 12-month period, we do different trainings for their team. So we like to start with those two things. And then we also just like to have this discovery call and really learn about them, what their business goals are,
Mhm.
and any issues they're currently having, or what their specific needs are, and really adapt it to that customer. So what's on our website with those pre-built packages, that's a starter point, but that we really, a la carte from there on what they really need. Because like you said, we start businesses, we're entrepreneurs, we start businesses, we are focused on what we want to do for business and not be the
Mhm.
IT security manager. So, us really supporting in partnership that entrepreneur is our goal. And there is no one time like come in, put these cybersecurity protocols in place and it's done. It has to be an ongoing relationship where you are helping
Sure.
us train your staff, you are reporting if anything really suspicious comes through, or sometimes there will be a virus that comes in and we send a message to the employees saying, hey, like, did you download this? Is this, can you provide
Yeah.
some more information? So it really is a working partnership for the
So
best
and
protection.
so as a company scales and grows and obviously their IT gets larger and larger and they have other things, do you advise on like this infrastructure you need to do, beware of this? I mean, I'm assuming you would, right? Is because, a lot of companies scale and grow and they add on pieces and they add on networks and they add on this, that, and the other. So are you able to grow with them? Is that kind of the goal for your company to do?
Absolutely. And we have experience doing that, growing from a small company that's went all the way to thousands of employees.
Mhm.
And, starting out, it makes a lot of sense to do our fully managed solution because we went out there and bought the expensive firewalls and these expensive vendors where
Mm,
small business owners are going to go fork out $50,000 most likely, to get
right.
this stuff set up right off the bat. So Blue Zone is the owner of those and we break it off for a fraction of the cost. So that's another thing, right? These aren't just low grade tools. These are actually like the best enterprise grade product in the market that
Mhm.
we've figured out, a way that we can break that off and offer that to the small business owner
That's
and
awesome.
fully managed as well. So, and then as they grow, right? We have a company that I was talking to yesterday. They have gotten to a point they're almost a couple hundred employees, and they do have a couple IT managers because they're spinning up so many different new laptops and stuff constantly, and they're growing so fast. So they're so bogged down by that IT management side, they don't have time to focus on the security. So once companies grow and they do start adding internal staff, we also work with their team too and manage and divide and conquer on stuff that they need to do, like where their strong suits are,
Mhm.
and where we can be of assistance.
Yeah, and I would assume as obviously as the company grow, I mean, there's always problems at every level, right? Small, large, in between, scaling, all those great things. Like you have different security needs at each level, I would assume, right? And so what is the biggest thing that you think gets folks as they're well, other than they just don't pay attention to it, right? Like me. Like I don't pay attention to it because I'm small, but like and then this whole remote workforce, like there's a lot of people like we're all remote. Like I have folks like all over the place and I don't care where you live. So talk about those two kind of things like scaling and what people need to pay attention to, and then this whole remote workforce kind of thing, that what are the big issues that we need to think about?
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I mean, our starter packages, is what we call the essentials, right? And so that's getting in there and getting the correct protection in place for your email. That's really filtering those malware and viruses coming through. That's protecting your web browsing that you're going out there to. That's securing, supporting your cloud applications that the business uses. There's also some data backup in there. So if something does happen, we've got a clean sheet there of data recorded and we can spin that back up quickly. So, and then as a company grows, right, it goes up there to even more extended advanced backup, even farther email protection, and then what we call managed detection and response. So, and endpoint protection. So, without getting too technical there, but it goes out there, and then that's really where we're just like digging into covering that data wherever it's at. So we really look at that business and where they are. Do they have hybrid employees? Are they working from coffee shops? Are they traveling a lot? Uh,
Mhm.
and you know, and as that company scales, and what we call, so we have our advanced, our essential, advanced, and then our secure zone, and that's where we want to get everybody to. Where really we kick on all of the um, features of our next generation firewall, and then they've got that secure VPN tunnel wherever they are and wherever they're connecting. So even as a small business. And I mean, that's starting from all the way from one employee, all up to about that 75 range is where these three really fall. And then
Mhm.
as they scale beyond there, we have different solutions that we bring in to really protect on. an enterprise level or very cloud-based business that has numerous servers out there, and providing this protection on that large scale. So
Yeah, I get, so as a property manager per se grows and they have multiple locations, right? They have, in different, maybe even different states, and they're, trying to make sense of all of that. Those property managers are, they're small businesses too, like everybody else. And they're, trying to manage this complexity of multiple locations or whatever it might be. I'm sure that your partnership with you would be very, very helpful for sure. I
yep,
mean, just protect data and protect all those great things. I mean, some of the property management systems in themselves will offer out security, but still there's so much stuff that happens outside of the property management system that's on
exactly.
people's computers that probably could be hacked into, right? For
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
that goes across a lot of industries there. I know the management systems nowadays do offer that protection when you're within the management system, or even if you're doing an email just out of the management system.
Yep.
But there's a whole other big portion that you're leaving unprotected there within your email, web browsing, and outside of that.
Mhm.
Like for example, they might have multi-factor authentication on their phone to that management system, but it's not identifying in so many different cloud apps and other areas. Uh, where people can get
Sure.
in those back doors.
Yeah, for sure. Or if they just save a report on their computer, right, that has like social security numbers on it, right?
Yeah,
It's just all those different things that you don't, which happens in daily course of business. I mean, if you're a property manager, you're downloading reports all the time. You have tenant applications, you have data, you're trying to do all this other stuff, and you're not thinking that, oh yeah, that's got a social security number on it, which could be stolen, right? It's just, you're just trying to get your job done for sure.
yeah. And
Yeah.
based in Texas, but I mean, our cybersecurity products and even our insurance products do extend worldwide. So if they've got office locations or even in other countries, or they're traveling there for work,
Yeah.
we're covering them wherever they travel to.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Crystal ball time. You ready?
Sure.
I was like, this is always like that. All right, Amy, what are you gonna throw out? Put me in the hot seat. All right.
There we go.
So what do you think is the next big like thing that becomes prevalent? You know how there was phishing, and before it was phishing, it was whatever, people hacking into whatever. Is there like a trend that you're seeing cybersecurity wise that happens or happening or will become more prevalent? I'm just curious. I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing right now is AI, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's huge. So, I mean, AI from a product perspective, and I did want to point out, I just noticed that my wife's yoga mat she set down has now filtered itself into our camera over here. So,
So good.
just noticed that.
That's great.
That's pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Don't you just
Yeah,
love
there
it
you
when
go.
the like kids pop through? Like there's the magic, that, and then there's a child.
And
That's
that
what I
does
always
happen.
think.
I have two young ones, so
I know.
good thing schools are back opened, right? They're
I
in school
know.
now, so that shouldn't happen for a few more hours here.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely on the AI side. So I mean, not only is it being built all the way into the core of our product with AI and machine learning,
Mhm.
because there's so many threats coming in that if we had hundreds of people in a room monitoring it, you still can't
Keep
get to
up.
all of them. So
Yeah.
it has to be a combination on our side of AI and human security that's tackling the problem.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, for business owners and for the hacker side, I mean, we've heard ChatGPT is such a big thing. This Copilot is such a big thing, and it's a great useful tool. I use ChatGPT every day to help me with
Mhm.
different stuff that I'm writing and tweaking, and blogs that I'm putting out there, and those items. But yeah, it's scary though. I mean, you can actually write write a log there, and you can have ChatGPT even go on somebody's website and hack a website for you with AI without even having to personally do it
Mm.
yourself. So
Oh
uh,
boy.
you know,
Yeah.
it's a tool that they're using just like we are. But these top vendors, and that's why we partner with the top vendors, is they're really, it's a game of one-upmanship and
Yep.
really staying on those threats and, doing the best job that we can to protect businesses from that. So,
Wow.
and then and those are being used, right? I mean,
Mhm.
businesses by nation states for these even larger attacks and so forth. So, yeah, AI is a huge thing, and then ransomware is probably one of the biggest threats out there, where once they get in your system, they're encrypting your data and system, and you have to pay money to get it back online.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna, I don't know. Like, one of these days, well, there's just so many hackers. There's got to be a movie where like the Terminator goes after hackers, like, something like that. Like, where it's like, yeah, you hacked into the wrong person, buddy. And then we're going to go
Yeah.
kill you all.
There actually are
Yeah.
some good Netflix documentaries and other Amazon Prime that I actually enjoy watching out there of these documentaries on these cases that have happened. It's really fascinating that people do these in these real life scenarios. And there's also some other good videos out there, like on YouTube, where there are hackers that people calling them on the phone as a scam, and in real time they hack back into their system and like into the cameras in the room of the call center, and
Yeah.
then it goes to where they hack them back, and
Yeah. That's
they're
awesome.
pretty comical. So there are
That's
some feet on the street out there
yeah.
trying to do
Yeah.
something about it.
I've seen like Kit Boda or whatever he's hilarious and he'll do all these voices and stuff. But it's usually over the phone where they're trying to scam somebody over the phone and they
Yeah.
get into their computer. I think that's funny. He'll keep them on the phone for hours,
Yep.
I'm just like, this is hilarious. Yeah, that's good entertainment for a little while, but yeah, no, I'm with you. It's out there. You got to protect your house. So it is what it is, right? You got to do what you got to do to protect your house for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they say in the good old days, people would go out there and rob banks, right? And that actually involved a lot more risk because you had to break into the bank, potential armed
Yeah.
robbery, you had to get the money, you had to get away.
Hmm.
Whereas now someone can sit at home in their PJs and try and hack into stuff. And normally the fines are even less too,
Yeah.
because there wasn't those other items.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Crazy. Bank robbing in your PJs,
yep,
like that is
drinking Mountain
crazy.
Dews.
Drinking Mountain Dews. For sure. Well, how can somebody get a hold of you? What's the best way to get you if they
Mhm.
want to reach
Yeah.
out?
Yep. Our website is bluezonecyber.com.
Okay.
Can definitely go out there, check out our website. With the click
Hmm.
of a button, can get the free training, can get a sign up for a free assessment. Can definitely reach out to me. I'm really big out there on LinkedIn. It's the main thing
Hmm.
that I use. So always welcome a message. Set up a time to connect. I'm even open to sending over a virtual Starbucks gift card, and we can have a virtual cup of coffee. So
That's cool. That's awesome. Very, very cool. Well, thanks. This has been such a cool conversation. And
great.
it's always a hot topic, cybersecurity and well, or it should be more of a hot topic. I mean, a lot of people don't, they're so busy and they don't, until they get hacked, they really don't think about it. But if they can, just take a hot second and go, oh, this is a risk, especially, the assessment, which is really cool. And I will probably go do, and I'll probably completely fail. So, but that's all right. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I can run one for you and show you what one of those looks like. And yeah, if anybody
Yeah.
listening out there is interested in what a cyber insurance quote looks like, or if they've
Mhm.
got an application from a carrier in the past, which we get a lot of calls about, and
Oh,
have no
yeah.
idea how to fill it out, we'll help them fill it out. So any questions about that stuff? I mean, I feel really well versed on commercial and personal real estate, and bring some years of experience there, and it should be able to point them in the right direction if it's not something that we personally do. So
Awesome. All right. Well, great. Thanks for being on. So good.
thanks, Amy.
All right.
Have a great day.
All right.